Guys, Frontwoods Farmer, welcome back to the channel. Today what we're doing is I'm giving you a little update. We've been building this lean-to here, did a little bit of concrete. The machine shop we're going to throw up here for right now. We want to put it over by Starburst if you guys been watching. It reminds me, right now is the perfect time for you guys to hit the subscribe button, the bell notification next to it, and then you get all my new videos. But I'll give you a little update today what we're doing. So what we did here, let me zoom out. We're in a couple 2x6 headers whole way around, weather guarded, whatever you want to call them, CCA, what is it? Pressure treated. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. Did that, pressure treated pulls. Yeah, and then we got a slab here. It's 12 by 28. We got our hydrant in right now. It's off right now. We got our hydrant in. And what we're doing today is I just got to figure out which pile of lumber to go choose my 2x6s out of for the trusses for the top of the roof. We're going to go with this slight grade here all the way out to the end. Once we figure out how long the trusses are going to be, and then I can figure out if I need 12s, 14, 16 footers or what. But yeah, it's going to be a nice little addition onto the barn here. So yeah, keep watching. All right, so when we went off of, let me get my ruler out, a little pointer. When we went off this top plate, fascia board, whatever you want to call it. So we went off at, to the very end, we had like 11'3". And if everything's all in square, what I mean by that, if the wall's not in or out on the other end, we'll have 7 inches really over that for a 12 footer to play with. So we're gonna have enough for overhang if we want to do like a 6 inch or 4 inch overhang for the rain to go off of. It's funny, you get some creative ways of doing things, little tips like when you're trying to measure off something, because when you're by yourself, there's a few things that you just can't do. So real quick tip-o, get one of these like a real sturdy tape measure, and you'd be amazed at the stuff that you can do by yourself. That and nails, you know, you can put nails anywhere, measure off them. First thing we did do to this is we wanted to go off this pitch of this roof, and we put a string line up the wall, and that kind of told us where we're going to be with our top plate here. There's a million ways to do it. There's probably better ways, definitely a lot worse ways. So we got our angle. We already had the pulls in, so we actually had to drop it down a little bit. But that's going to be nice because there's not really enough fall on here, but the way we got it braced underneath here, you know, it's a little bit overkill on things, so it'll be fine. We're going to take that ladder off here today, bring the 2x6s over, just get started on this lean-to. I already made a how to build a lean-to video. You guys want to check that out, I'll throw a link in the description down below. It's pretty informative. It's one of my older videos, so it's probably not going to be the best video that you've seen, but it'll help you out if you're new to it. And do is just go to one of our many stockpiles of brand new lumber. Where the heck did my tape measure go? I got this one, it's good enough. And what we're gonna do is just measure it out, kind of see if these are 12 foot or 10s. Boom, money right there. All right, we got 12 footers in this pal. So we're gonna start bringing over these 2x6s here for the building over there. I bet the first thing some of you guys that build a lot notice, and that's Miss Fancy. Everybody say hi, Fancy. Hello, Bug. This bug just got stung by yellow jackets, so check her out. She's all right. But anyway, the first thing you guys notice that do this kind of stuff, farm, whatever, is that clear vinyl. That's a ultimate life hack. So believe it or not, and I don't understand it because the sun has not really made this lumber white, but yet I can still go around because I got other piles of wood throughout the farm. You could see what you have. This is like the coolest thing ever, because whenever you tarp stuff, you're like, man, I don't know if I have that many 2x8s or 2x6s, or man, what do I have? How many do I have? How long are they? This is the best thing that I can tell you to do. I mean, yeah, I got a couple little things that looks junky on there. That's just to keep the wind down. But all in all, I'm very happy with like doing this. I mean, you could see everything in your pal. Trust the UTV. I use this thing for everything. Grab our chain. So we're just gonna chain some of these up, drag them over where we need them, and we don't have to keep walking back and forth. And figure out what most of them, the majority of them are cut at. And everybody's like, well, there's 12 footers. If you've been dealing with lumber, you know what I'm gonna say. And if you haven't, save you guys a little bit of time and aggravation. These will be 12 foot 1, 11 foot 11, 12 foot 3, 4 I've even seen. So what they do is normally they're at least 12, and then they go to a couple inches over. So whenever you're building your rafters, you don't want them to be for your faceplate like this. So what we're gonna do, check them all, and if they're 12s, you know, or 12 twos or whatever, we're gonna cut them all down to the same size. That way it matches up on the building. And what I learned to do too is, like, I got that chain, I'm gonna pull them all, lay your chain out like 6 feet of it, tuck them all in there, make a nice pal, wrap it tight, and you're ready to go. Because you try to pick up your bundle of wood, it's gonna be hard on your back and stuff once you got the wood on the ground. So lay the chain first, throw the wood on top. Half, 15, and every one of them. Drag over what you can. Wood is all over here now. I'm probably gonna figure out where I'm starting from and disperse the pals to where it's easier to get on and off the roof. Again, because if I'm doing this myself, I don't want to overwork more than I have to, because they're going to be long, hot days after work. Now, next thing we're going to have to do is take this gutter off. There's a few different types of fasteners for gutters. These ones just got those little clips that go in the gutter, and there's a screw or a bolt. These ones got the screw in type screw that goes in. So we're going to zip all these off, and then yeah, we're going to get that gutter off and try to get started on something here. Change of plans, I was going to do it from the ground. I think what I'm going to do is get up on that roof, and that way whenever I'm unbolting the gutter, my ladder is not on the gutter. Not that it'll really go far, but it's still safer, and I'm working by myself here. Bought this at a flea market the other year. This was a very nice tool for the 10 bucks or whatever I spent on it, 20 bucks. Bunch of different nut drivers. Grab that. Grab our DeWalt impact gun. If you guys are looking at buying an impact gun from DeWalt, where's the number? Where's the number? I did a lot of research. It was a pain in the butt to find. DCF 887. This is the best gun you can get. There is a DCF, I believe, 888. I couldn't figure out the difference for the longest time. They're both almost identical, except for the fact that one's Wi-Fi, one's not. I bought the one that's not because I'll never use the Wi-Fi. Throw in our 6AH battery in that. I'm gonna get up on that roof, guys. Kind of just work this roof from left to right, unscrewing the gutter. Again, if this was a nice gutter, brand new Alcoa or something, doing it for a customer, you don't want to do it this way, it's gonna fall, get help. But way we gotta do it today. Get her done. All right, that came down in a hurry. Got the gutter down. Just kind of leave it where it lies. That way we can put it back up if we need to. Whoops. If we need to, and I don't think we're getting any rain for a few days. What we ended up doing is we put a 2x6 there because I finally got help. My dad was he came down real quick to just help me throw this on. Put it up there. We came on this side here and we marked the line to get our angle. Once we have that, we're going to mark one of these boards T for template, and we're going to cut them all the same. Now keep in mind it's an older barn, so this roof here may be out of square with that, and the angles and everything might change. So you're only going to want to make 3-4 boards, and then you may want to start another template, or it might work the whole way down the line, but you don't want to get 30 feet down and things not matching up. So we're going to start doing that. And I didn't really figure out what I was going to do with this top plate here and to tie in, because I want something a little extra. So what we're going to do is get another 2x6, and we're going to tuck it in about 1.5 inches, screw it into each one of these trusses, and then that way it's going to be up like this, and we'll set our new 2x6s on top of that. You'll see what I mean. Right, as you can see, this is kind of what I mean. I mean, this board's a little warped, so it's a little twisted, but I just put a couple screws in it. So what's going to happen, let me climb the ladder, I'll show you. For extra support, where all these trusses are, I'm tying this plate into those and into this top plate. And then our new trusses, yeah, we're going to toenail them in like everybody does, but I also wanted it to sit on something, so it'll sit on this board for added, it's a little bit added strength. All right, so when you have this instance for this board, it's really warped, but it's a good usable board. Just got to take your time with it. Like I made this little jack, so I'll screw it in each side and I'll just keep moving along, get that board nice and straight there. All right, this is pretty much what we're going to end up with. We're going to put all our roof trusses on. We're going to tie them into that fascia board, that top plate, as you'd call it. And I got that bottom plate I put on that 2x6, and it turned out all right. Not as nice as I thought, because the original trusses behind that top plate, some of them are down like 1/8 in that. So that board, instead of sitting flat, it's kind of a little bit twisted, but it's really not bad. Nothing that you're not going to notice once you get a roof and everything on. So I'm going to throw all these on, these trusses up top. I call them trusses. They're just 2x6s. And at the very end, what we'll do is we'll run a nail. We're going to run a nail on this here. And what we'll do is we'll run a nail here and a nail at the other end. We'll run a string line down. And that way we'll make sure our wall isn't twisted going down and like snaked. And then as we go down, we could do the ends like I did here, but we'll toenail screw them in at the very ends. And then as we're going down the wall, and we'll push the wall and straighten it, and we'll toenail them in, and that'll hold that wall straight until we get the roof on and all our runners on top. A little bit too hard to film with the tape measure, but what we're doing up here before we run all our trusses, you're gonna go from this X, well, really the center of your first truss. That's what we did. So pretend this is our first truss. You're gonna go to center. If you want 2 foot or 16 inch on center, you go to your 2 foot or 16 inch mark. You go to 3/4 inch on this side for the 2x4, and 3/4 inch on this side for your other end of your 2x4. Because a 2x4 is only 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So that'll fit in there perfectly. So when you mark them out and you're throwing them up here, you know, with another guy or by yourself, you don't have to try to hold a tape measure and mark these out and do everything. Just throw it up, put it on its spot, screw it in, and you're done. Day 2, we're going to make sure our header boards are all in a straight line. I'll show you what I mean. Got just like a 3-inch nail here. Got a new string line here. Show you what I'm talking about. So again, like we said, we're going to run the string line from here to the other end and make sure this wall isn't snaked. And make sure it's a straight line, and then we can adjust and toenail these boards in. I did get up the rest of the trusses. I'll show you. I was going to make this a few part video, but I'm just going to. Here's a Cincinnati. That's the 1 mil we're gonna have. It's a number 2 Cincinnati. That's what we got here. So all the trusses are up. And put a couple of dog leg boards in here. Hold these end trusses. So it's going good. Again, we're gonna put a nail from that end to this end to make sure that header board isn't have any kind of S. Because these pulls they're always dry. all your lumber that you get from the big box stores, it's always green. They're milling it too fast. They're not letting it cure. It's just green. So it's gonna, in the sun and or moisture, it's depending on your moisture content of your wood, is gonna either be drying or getting more moist. So it's gonna always be flexing until you get it kind of secured in there. So let's see what we got. Now you're gonna wanna go on this side and then wrap it around, because if you don't, you got a risk of this being out from here on a nail, hanging on the nail. So you just go from this side, you wrap around, you're gonna get your true corner. Now also you're gonna wanna watch out for these lag screws or whatever you use to fasten your header boards, going between or under them, wherever. So we'll set that up once we get down here for that other nail. You can notice that, let me get a close up so you can see. See how bad the wall is? So we're gonna have to bring this wall out. As we bring this wall out, we'll tie it in to here. That's why I left these loose. Okay, so I measured off my 2 foot on center. I got them close. We'll do that again before we actually toenail them. But we're gonna bring this wall out. We'll toenail accordingly, push in, pull out. We'll have a nice straight line. That'll get you straightest line. So if you have a long span like we do on this header board, and your line is hitting multiple places and it's really S-shaped, if you have bad or warped lumber, you could just fur it out with these little piece of picket or whatever, as long as you got your measurements same on each end. Like this is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, just like your standard 2x4, 2x6. So what you got to do is go around and check your 1.5 inches everywhere on your line. So we got that done. We got a few screwed in and we're pretty close. We're good enough for our barn. We're happy. All right, now what we're gonna do is mark our ends for our faceplate here, that fascia board, whatever you wanna call it. So what I did is I measured the smallest distance here. I've got 6.5. So I marked this end 6.5 and that other end's actually the smallest at 6.5. That's just the way the boards are because we had to tuck in the sides to tie it into the existing structure. You also put in a plug at the end, that way you can actually fasten that securely. I'll show you that right now. That's called a plug. Brings it out 1.5 inches so you have something to nail onto. Because if you butted that up to the corner, you'd have 2 corners and you wouldn't be able to fasten it securely. So now that we got our string line on our 6.5 mark, you can see where we're gonna have to mark every one of these, put a level, make a line, and we'll cut all these, and then you'll have a perfect 6.5 distance from your face plate out, or your top plate out to your fascia board.